to our meditation time as you allow yourself just to settle in the spot that you've chosen. Just let your body fully relax. If you are seated, just allow your shoulders just to soften. If you're laying down, just stretch out in a way that feels right for you. Give your back a little support, soften your jaw, and just allow the physical part of you to just really come into this space and feel comfort. And then as the body goes, hopefully the mind will follow just a bit. And so as your eyes close and you begin to find just a gentle rhythm of breath, see if the mind can get comfortable in the same way. You softened your shoulders, you relax the body. Do the same thing with all the thoughts of this day, all the things that take up space in our head. It doesn't mean we turn our thoughts off. It doesn't mean we tell the mind to stop, but just allow yourself to be comfortable, physically comfortable, mentally comfortable. And then what you'll find is that emotional and energetic side of you just begins to follow. And then as we've settled in, just give yourself permission that if you need to adjust, you adjust. And then you come back to that rhythm of breath that you've chosen for yourself. We've been on this journey for the last few weeks, really sitting with purpose, dharma, duty, this thing that is our honor to do. We have discovered this idea of the global purpose of all mankind, of humanity as one. We've sat with this idea of our individual purpose, and many of us just waiting for confirmation of what it is, and others just confirming the things that we already know. We've sat with the obstacles, the struggles that get in the way of it. And so tonight, what I'd like us to do is just really seal our commitment to our dharma. Even if we're not fully sure about what its steps look like, how it presents itself in this reality of our lives. But let's let this commitment come right from heart center. That I know I have a purpose in this world. And I want to commit that each day I want to live it. I want to wake up with intention, as Thich Nhat Hanh reminds us, smiling, anticipating the moments in that day when I get to contribute to the peace and the well-being and the happiness of others. And so I'd like us just to first settle in collectively, thinking about this idea of universal purpose, waking up each day knowing that there are other people also trying to bring a little more calm, a little more compassion, a little more love into this world. And then we'll spend the bulk of our time sitting with this individual purpose, sealing our commitment to that. So collectively, across these airways, let's just take a slow breath in together. And then exhale, just sigh it out. And a deep breath in together. Exhale, sigh it out. One more together, breathing in and breathing out. And let's let these few breaths together just seal our commitment collectively. Oftentimes we feel like we go through life and we are isolated. We're the only one, it feels like many times, doing this work, trying to live this path, trying to emit and exude compassion in all the places where we go. But today we know that is not true. Not only are there people within this collective space with us, but there are people across this world, all across this globe, committed to the same thing. Waking up each day, anticipating the way that you'll get to bring a little more healing, a little more goodness into this world. It may sound like a daunting and awesome task, but when you think about the collective nature, what an honor it is to be a part of that. That's where this idea of dharma and this idea of duty, we truly begin to see it as an honor. And then I'd like us just to spend the rest of our time sealing our commitment to our purpose. Mine is different than yours. Yours is different than the people in their home that you may live with, different than the people that you work with and you drive alongside on the highway. We each have these special gifts, these talents, these skills, these passions that fuel our individual purpose. And so I want us just to go into this looking at those 4 soul questions, and then I'm going to share a mudra with you. A physical gesture that we can do with our hands as a reminder we have a purpose. And it's up to us what we do with it. And so as you continue to sit and you continue to breathe, just going back to these soul questions, and the first one asks us, who am I? Who am I? And remember, we're not necessarily just trying to answer it. We just want to sit with the question. Constantly getting curious. Who am I? And then that second soul question, ask, what do I want? What do I want? What is my deepest longing in my heart, in my soul? What do I want? And the third question says, what am I grateful for? What am I grateful for in this moment, throughout this day, the moments that will come tomorrow? What am I grateful for? And then that fourth soul question, what's my purpose? What is my purpose? And oftentimes we sit with these things and they sit deep in our soul, and then we go out into the very physical, very sensory world. And our soul sometimes gets a little covered up because the world is loud and it is busy. It's so physical. There's all these outward expressions of so many things around us. And so in our yogic practice, in our meditation practice, we have this beautiful tool of physical reminders, of physical gestures. They're called mudras. And so what a beautiful thing to be able to take into this physical, sometimes overwhelming world, these physical reminders of our purpose. And so you can either just listen and just visualize in your mind's eye what this would look and feel like, or you are welcome to do it right there in your spot, right alongside me. But as you're seated or lying down, whatever position you're in, just bring your hands to heart center in that Anjali Mudra, this prayer position, where the palms come together and the thumbs and the index fingers and the middle fingers and the ring fingers and the pinkies, they all touch. This beautiful Anjali Mudra, this prayer, this namaste position is this idea of union, the right and the left. All the parts of us united. We often use this mudra at the end of a yoga class as this symbol that we've worked toward union. These hands remind us of that, and we'll get up and rise and go into our life and our world and our activity with this tangible reminder. But it's from this union of these two hands coming together that another mudra comes, Padma Mudra. Again, going back to Thich Nhat Hanh, he reminds us that no mud, no lotus. And I know that some of us are walking through the mud right now. But what we know is that beautiful lotus flower, this beautiful expression of spirituality and enlightenment and purity, this sacred flower of India. It comes from the mud. Its roots are in the mud, but it grows toward the light, blessing us with its beauty. They say that within this lotus flower are these 1,000 petals of potential and possibility. I think that's where our dharma, our purpose sits. Within these 1,000 petals of potential and possibility. So if you do have your hands together, just allow the thumbs and the pinkies to stay connected and let the other 3 sets of fingers separate. Your hands are still together, the pinkies are touching the thumbs, but the other 3 are opened up. Padma, Mudra, the lotus flower. And so for as long as it feels physically comfortable for you, or if you're not doing it, as long as you can just hold that image in your mind, that visualization, I'd like us just to sit with this beautiful outward and physical expression that as these fingers part from this place of balance and union, we find our purpose. So maybe very gently bring the fingers back together. Remembering this beautiful prayer mudra, this means we've brought things as one. Through our yoga practice, through our breath work, through sitting in nature, through meditation, we feel union. And then those 3 sets of fingers in the middle begin to separate. And from that union, that harmony, we discover and are able to live out our purpose. So again, for as long as it feels comfortable to hold it or visualize it, imagine you're peering down at these 1,000 lotus petals, seeing your purpose, seeing the answers to your questions of who am I? What do I want? What am I grateful for? And what is my purpose? Continue to breathe slow, deep, compassionate breaths. Peering in and seeing, maybe not the full scope of the reality yet, but seeing the potential of your purpose. Continuing to breathe. If you have your hands in this lotus mudra, I would invite you to close your fingers. Keeping the palms together if that feels okay for you, or imagine in your mind's eye that they're together. And then just bring those hands to rest either on your lap, on the tabletop, wherever you are. Because just like the lotus flower, when the moments of darkness come, when the sunlight is gone, the petals close, and sometimes you even catch it going below the surface of the water. It comes back for nourishment, for rest, for restoration. The light is gone, the sun has gone to the other part of the globe, and the lotus flower finds rest. I'm constantly amazed at the messages and the lessons that nature gives us. We're not asked to go around with this lotus flower just open all the time and available. We're asked to pull back in, restore, pause, reflect, and then begin to seek the light again. In yoga, we call that sadhana. This spiritual practice, we are doing it now, this showing up. These rituals that you do in your life so that your times of seeking the light as the lotus flower begin to get longer and more sustained. Always noting we have permission to close those petals back up and restore. So I'd like us just to sit in the quiet just for these next couple of moments. Allow your fingers just to rest, maybe wiggle them a little bit if you have the mudra, and then just get comfortable again. As we sit with those soul questions, being so willing and so open to whatever is revealed in the moments of quiet. Who am I? What do I want? What am I grateful for? And what is my purpose? As you continue to breathe compassionate, gentle breaths, knowing that across this globe of the 8 billion people who inhabit it, there are millions just like us, sitting with, seeking purpose. There are millions just like us, actually rising up and doing our very best to live it. And there are millions who haven't quite yet discovered what their purpose is. But I like to believe that over time, the more that we sit and seek and live, our example begins to inspire more. And we have this beautiful ripple effect until more millions begin to seek and more millions begin to live. And all of a sudden, the state of our world begins to feel very different. The lotus flower doesn't settle into these big bunches or these big bushes. It's just the one, with its roots tied down to the mud from which it emerged. But just like the lotus flower next to it, and the one next to that, and next to that, all turning their attention to that one source of light. And so as we close out our time and we close out this beautiful just walk along this idea of purpose, I wish for each of us a sense of clarity each day. This physical presence in our lives of knowing someday what that purpose is, and then having the courage as well as the compassion to live it out. It is an honor to share my sadhana with you, and it is an honor that you choose to share yours with me. Namaste.